Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch here at Baselworld 2014 with Tag Heuer, interviewing the CEO Stephane Linder. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Good. So we have some exciting things to talk about today, and most notably, this is sort of the commercial debut of what was the code name Caliber 1969, which is now the CH80. I think this is a fantastic movement. Maybe you can tell everyone why you think this is a fantastic movement.
But first of all, this is our second in-house movement after the 1887. So we're now presenting a new movement, which name is CH80. Why? Because CH means Stephane, it's the place where we produce it, and CH as well means Switzerland, you know. And 80, it's because it's an 80 horsepower reserve movement. So this particularity of this movement that we developed totally in-house and manufacture in-house is that there is very good points, is that there is a very good optimum between thickness and power reserve. You might know that the more power reserve you have, most of the time the thicker the movement is.
Right. So how thin is the movement?
So here it's 6.5 millimeter, and with 80 horsepower reserve, it makes the best ratio in the market for an industrial movement of thickness versus power reserve.
So let me ask you, just to compare, how thick is, say, a 7750?
The 7750 is 7.9.
Okay.
And it's not 80 horsepower
Sure.
reserve. It's about 45 power reserve.
So many people are familiar with 7750. Of course, there are some movements that you still use it. So this is significantly thinner and also has a longer power reserve, probably about double.
It's about double power reserve, a
Right.
bit less, but about double. And then the thickness is from 7.9 to 6.5. So which is making a chronograph which is very compact and have a very strong sales argument of saying yes, it's 80 horsepower reserve. So you can spend the whole weekend, if you don't wear your chronograph, you let it on the Friday evening, you take it on Monday morning, and it's still working.
Now, the Tag Heuer watches use a great deal many chronograph movements. Where would you say this fits in sort of the hierarchy of prestige?
In terms of chronograph?
Yeah.
But this is among the best chronograph, just because here we have a column wheel system, so which is the document you see here, which makes a very smooth to operate chronograph. When you push, very soft, very clean, very simple, very precise thing. And this is a vertical clutch system, so it's among the top movements, and thin, as I said. So it's really among the top movement in terms of quality and perception of quality and luxury codes, because the finishing has been done very well with Code de Genève. You see the oscillating weight is black, so it's very well done, and it's among the best chronograph. Yes.
That's fantastic, and I think people are going to like it a lot. Now, this watch is not the first, but one of the first to contain the movement. Is that correct?
Yes, we had just a limited edition for our boutiques. Now this one will be the serious one coming everywhere.
Now, what's the name of this watch?
So it's called the Carrera CH80. So the Carrera was born in 1963. It was in tribute to a famous race that was made in Mexico. The Mexican government built a road which was called the Pan American Road from north of Mexico to south of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to celebrate the inauguration, they decided to make a race.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fantastic race with whatever driver, whatever car you could have. You just need your driving license and you run. And it could be a mixture of either Porsche, GTs, or even the smallest car.
So very few rules.
Very few rules, a lot of dead people. But then the myth was born, right?
Right.
And therefore the name Carrera means race in Spanish.
Oh.
Which is great because it's a beautiful name. It sounds well.
Yeah.
So Jack Heuer heard about this race and he wanted to make a product. And this is the way the car was born. Very open, very clean, easy to read chronograph. Because these people racing, when they want to watch their watch, you have to see the time very quickly. So it wanted to have a very open dial with very easy to read instructions. So based on that, with this series has been since 63, so it's a timeless design. We decided to put our famous CH80 new movement and make a very interesting motor racing inspired product. A little bit of vintage, but still modern. You recognize the leather with the holes, like the gloves of the gentleman driver.
Right.
And with interesting detail like a red lining, You see the sapphire case back you can see this new movement.
So this isn't that common. I mean, you had it on the 1887, but the normal Carrera, you have a closed case back.
Depending which, we have the entry price point, we don't have it.
Right.
But then if you go higher price point, you have sapphire case. And a nice dial design, a bit inspired by the past, the red hands, very clean, very cool, very trendy, and we have two different dial, one with this white with black
I think it's fantastic. So this is a 41 millimeter wide case.
This is a 41 millimeter, which is also because there's this product that you want to make it a little bit vintage. It's 41, and as the movement is thin, even so it's a small diameter, it's not too thick, which is important, because when you do a small diameter and you have a thick movement, it's not elegant. This one is, I think, very well balanced in terms of design.
I think it looks fantastic. Now, this is not a limited edition, correct?
No, this is a regular piece that will be launched in the end of the year.
That's fantastic. Okay, great. So we have the Carrera CH80.
Yep.
And that's a great, and you said the price is about?
It will be around 5,000, 5,500 Swiss francs. We have yet to define it precisely. Very competitive price for an in-house manufacturer.
So this is a good watch for sort of all TAG Heuer collectors. Now you have something else which is
not for all.
Not for all, for some.
No. So I mean, maybe you heard about the Monaco V4.
Sure.
So
you're wearing it.
Yeah, I'm wearing it. This is the one I'm here. So, but it started 10 years ago, 2004. We presented a concept watch in Basel, and it was a very incredible welcome from the people because it was very different. It was the first ever belt-driven movement. Since the beginning of watchmaking, so hundreds of years before, every watch has gears, to make the demultiplication between hour, minute, and second. And we decided to say no more gears. Let's go for belts, belt-driven, like you would say in a car engine. You have some belt, teeth belt, and we designed this in 2004. So it was a huge story, and it was extremely difficult. It was a concept watch. It took us 5 years to produce the first piece.
Right, I remember.
So in 2009 it went out, and the first product was in platinum, 110,000 Swiss francs, which is over $120,000.
And that was the most expensive TAG Heuer watch of all time.
Ever.
Is it? But it's not no longer the most expensive.
No,
you've gone higher than that.
Yeah, we have made some very interesting things since. So
yeah.
Now we can have some watches up to 230,000 Swiss francs.
So this new Monaco V4 has a brand new movement. Let's check it out.
Yeah, so the idea was to do something even more exceptional. So we said, why not combining the hyper traditional luxury complication, which is a tourbillon, with our belt-driven system. So what you're going to see here is the first ever belt-driven tourbillon in the world. So I'm going to open it. Should we put a bit of music?
It's actually a really nice box. I like how it's finished.
So you see here, this is the tourbillon. Okay, so it's a 28800 alternance, vibration per hour. So in 1 minute it will make a full revolution, and then you have a belt directly on the tourbillon which goes to 6 o'clock, and in 6 o'clock you have what we call the second wheel, so you will see the second indicated because it's turning.
Oh, interesting. So the tourbillon actually drives the belt.
Yes, the belt drives the tourbillon.
Oh, the belt drives the tourbillon.
Yeah, because the energy comes from there and it just.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. That's cool. So, what's this case material? It's very polished black.
Yeah, this is it's a titanium grade 5, because titanium grade 5 is a hyper hard alloy of titanium. Therefore, you can polish it and then you can cover it with a black PVD treatment.
It's like piano black finished. It's great.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let me ask you a question. What is the price premium on the Monaco V4 Tourbillon versus? I mean, I know that all of the Monaco V4s have different price, but what would you say? How much more is this than say your average V4?
So the basic V4, which is titanium with the normal escapements, balance wheel. This is 65,000 Swiss francs, and this one is 150,000 Swiss francs. Tourbillon.
Okay, so this is a much more high
most
watch.
Complicated and most avant-garde tourbillon in the world, and we will have the first pieces reaching the market in June already, which is good. So we will produce about 50 of these, and we will start delivering the first 10 in June.
I have a question for you, because back in 2004 when you initially debuted the Monaco V4 as a concept, I mean, it was something very, very different. You didn't have a price at the time because it wasn't ready yet.
No.
And then, several years later, when you, in like 2009, were finally able to release it, there was a completely new price range for the brand. Have you found that the same collectors are going into it, or are you attracting an entirely new set of customers that previously weren't buying TAG, but now have found something interesting because of this new higher bracket?
Sure, it's definitely other people. Actually, some of the people we sold this product maybe had bought a TAG, but more for a casual use. You can have a TAG for your weekend, or you have a TAG because you like a sporty, cool watch. But then definitively this type of people are people that owns Patek, that owns supercars and like the quality of this invention just because they want something different. Sometimes the collectors have many pieces and they maybe have already a lot of tourbillon, but what they want to do is to complete their collection with something which is unique, different, and very special. So therefore, all the innovation we did since the V4 were always very innovative and very different from the competition, because I think that TAG Heuer can compete if it brings something exceptional, even it's above 100,000 Swiss francs, but it has to be different and technologically totally a breakthrough. You know?
It makes TAG a very unique brand because you have a lot in the accessible territory, and then you have this big gap, and then you have very high-end pieces.
Yes.
Would you agree that makes you very unique among all the brands here at Baselworld?
Yeah, but and this is totally, respected. Just, we have been winning numerous Grand Prix d'Horlogerie of Geneva, and if you compare it, all the brands that won a lot of Grand Prix de Geneva were the top high-end brand that produce anyway very high-end. But for us, we are the only brand that won so many Grand Prix de Geneva, which is, as you said, affordable price point from 1 to 5,000 Swiss francs or $1 to $5,000. However, we have this incredible innovation, which is exactly belonging to the highest piece of haute horlogerie. But I think it works just because we know our brand very well, and this brand is about innovation and avant-gardism. It's part of our DNA, and therefore it could be possible to bring things like that which are totally unique on the market.
Right. And as of several years ago, TAG Heuer makes not just watches, you make other things, and then I think it was it 2009 you introduced the Meridiist?
Yes. Meridiist was an idea of making a luxury mobile phone, which is something that there's very, very few brands making. And this year we go even further, and I think it's interesting, showing again the innovation side of TAG Heuer, is that this mobile phone is the first mobile phone where you don't need a charger. Okay, so actually the mobile phone is charging here because of the light. So it's a solar power mobile phone, or artificial light as well, it works. So we have been capable of putting photovoltaic cells beneath the sapphire crystal, and this means that this mobile phone, if it's in the light, it will stay forever in standby, so you can receive your text, whatever thing, forever, okay, without putting a charger. And if you use it for talk time, of course, when you talk, there's a connection and it drains much more energy. You could talk 1 hour and 30 minutes per hour if you light it 24 hours. So if you let your mobile phone always on the lights, either during the day or during the night, you have, if you travel in a hotel and you have not your charger, you put it in the bathroom with light. So for 24 hours a day, I get 1 hour and 30 minutes of talk time.
Interesting. So in today's world, pretty much everyone has a smartphone, but a lot of people have multiple phones. I'm someone who has 2 phones. So this is an unlocked phone, right? Mm-hmm. And so you could go around and put your SIM card in here for talk and texting anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. Now here's the thing, you and me both, when we carry around our phones, it's in our pocket. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of light getting to it. Have you thought of any interesting special ways of carrying or wearing this phone so that you could charge it?
It's a good question, because we never thought about it yet. But I think what is important is, when you travel, every time you can put it. If you know that you need energy, maybe you will change a bit the way you wear the phone. So for example, here, this mobile phone, since I know this, I just put it on the table.
Right.
So instead of the pocket, for example. And also what happens is, most of the time when you reach your hotel room, you instead of trying to find if you have lost your charger, or sometimes you travel, you need the right adapter because the plugs are different from one country to the other. You just put it in the bathroom under the light, and then you can talk.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, we know that the mobile phone market evolves so quickly. It doesn't even take a year for your phone to need replacement. Now we know that this is not going to be someone's primary phone per se.
No.
What is the buying experience like? What else do you get with it? Is it, once you buy a Meridiist, are you kind of in a club that helps you get a new one when there's a new phone? Is there an upgrade potential? How does that work? How do you make people feel more comfortable about investing what is a much higher price in a piece of technology that, of course, is evolving so quickly?
Yeah, you totally touched the right question. I mean, what we observed, by the way, is that the best successful mobile phone for us was a simple phone.
Right.
We had also an Android. We launched the Link, which was Android, and bizarrely, it was not successful as a simple, basic phone. This one, phones send text messages. You can maybe read your email, but this is nothing, not a lot, right? You have and because people buy, they have always their smartphone, but then they have their luxury phone when they use it only for just when they need to phone, when they go out, and this is after all a luxury piece of equipment. So for example, in Russia, we sell more phone in value in our boutiques than when watches, because it's extremely a status symbol object. So it's a different usage.
So this is the Meridiist Infinite, right?
This is the Meridiist Infinite, right?
And what is the I guess the estimated price on this, and how many versions is it going to come in?
It's around 9,000 Swiss francs, and we have different colors. We have here a titanium one, quite light for titanium, sapphire crystal, so very resistant too.
Right.
And we have also a black titanium, and we have also titanium and gold version.
Interesting. All right, so that has been some of the highlights of TAG Heuer for 2014. Mr. Linder, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.